Alright guys, so I've got a problem with the video and the voice going out of sync. We'll have to see how this one goes to see if I need to try and edit it. Hopefully it'll not be too bad, we can get it straight uploaded. I don't want to sit rambling on for 5 minutes before we get into stuff. I'm told, I have lots of comments on other social media and emails and messenger, and I'm told that this is why some people click but turn off. However, that being said, the last video ended with me getting a bit overwhelmed and confused, and I promised you guys that I'd finish that off the next day. I need to stop making these promises, because me being me, I deleted all the slides up to there, but then I added a couple in before to build up to that, and then I've added a few more, and this has snowballed into part 3, which I intended on making anyway as the final follow-up part to the video series of Karahan Tepe, Osiris Tomb and the 7 feathered serpents. So we'll get straight into it, guys. The two pillars that lead to the promise, the pinnacle, the holy mountain. These two pillars, Freemasonry basics. Most of you will know by now, between the two pillars is the temple. And the two pillars are called Boaz and Yakin. These pillars, Boaz and Yakin, are the earth, representation of the earth and the heavens. Now, we've shown a few tarot cards already, guys. Here's another. So we're already drawing in now the roots of Egypt, the Americas, the Freemasons, and the tarot, the fortune telling, that sort of stuff. And with the Göbekli and the Catalhoyuk stuff, the triple goddess, and now understanding who these female and women figures are, the red and the white, we're tying pretty much everything that is not of the scripture together into the alternate story, and this seems to be the same story but the other side's point of view, which is the root of the mystery religion of Babylon. Now in this tarot card we can see the two pillars, and they're labelled Boaz and Yakin. The high priestess, this is the white woman with the crescent and the orb from the Göbekli Tepe pillar. This is Isis, the socket for the orb, and here we can see 7 pineal glands. Also the moon showing the crescent. Okay guys, and these pillars have the 3, which is the fleur-de-lis, in the horns, which is the ovaries, as we've shown. Yakin and Boaz, as I pronounce them, are the 2 pillars from Solomon's temple. For those of you that were unaware, the middle pillar is the doorway and the passageway inside the temple, because this temple is designed, and the tabernacle itself is designed in the layout of a man, just like all the other temples, because you are the temple, and they wanted to create temples for their gods to dwell in out of bricks and stone, and that's what they wanted. So God gave them the tabernacle, And then Solomon built Solomon's temple. And the two columns, the two pillars, are the origin of Yakin and Boaz. Of course, guys, if you've been following this series, or if you've been looking yourself, you'll be up to speed about the first degree tracing board and the three pillars, and them representing the sun and the moon and the black sun, and the ladder with the entities, supposed angels coming down into the mason, spirit guides into the mason. And on the second deeper level, we're aware that this second version of the middle pillar is the temple of the coming Messiah of the Freemasons. The middle pillar is the coming Masonic Messiah. He has the sun in his eye, and he has the X which is winged. Of course, the journey of the Mason leads to spiritual enlightenment, which, as you're on this journey, on the first 3 steps, before you've even embarked this journey, you have no idea what or who this enlightening entity is. You just have to believe that there is one when you're about to step into the world of masonry and into the checkered squares floor. Of course, then, as we've shown, there's more than what meets the eye to the first degree, and a higher initiate will learn more about this stuff, which we've already covered, guys. The 3 pillars are named Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian, and that's the styles. So the Ionic is the 2 swirls, the ram style pillar. The Doric pillar is the straight up pillar that's just plain at the top, and the Corinthian pillar is the floral, all fancy patterned. Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian. This, guys, I've included this because this is information. If you're wanting to understand what's going on, then this is information you need to be remembering, learning. The 3 pillars to a Mason represent wisdom, strength, and beauty on the first initiate level. The Ionic pillar is Solomon, the king of Israel, and the Corinthian pillar is Hiram Abiff, but the Doric pillar represents Hiram, the king of Tyre, which, as I've covered before, and some of you will have already known, that Hiram, the king of Tyre, is a man possessed from Ezekiel. The 3 columns, the 3rd level, means the male and female coming together to create this symbol, the Star of Remphan, the phallic pillars. The Star of Remphan, guys, is the host created from the intercourse between the male and the female. How do you make a man for the spirit of the anti-Messiah to dwell in? Here, this is from the Grand Lodge, I believe, in England. The 2 pillars, between the 2 pillars is the 5-star, with the 5-pointed star, guys. This is the host, and here is the 6th point of the star. This is the eye. This is the 5-pointed star's pinnacle, illuminated, possessed from birth, guys. And this is the G-man, which is the square and compass, and the G, which is their god, on the checkered floor, which represents merging of the secret and the light, stuff in the light that we know about, secret, the merging of the dimensions, the seen and the unseen, and ultimately the merging of the spirit and the flesh. This, of course, is what this flag means. So we've seen The British flag is the Star of Ishtar, and here we have the son of Ishtar, the Star of Remphan, between the two pillars of this flag of this well-known nation who claim to be a peoples, but really they are not. They are Ashkenaz, Zionist, sons of Japheth. There, I said it. That's who this guy is. Their Messiah, their coming Messiah, the seventh Messiah, their real Messiah who they're waiting for. They say Yeshua wasn't the Messiah, the G-Man. And how to create him. Here he is, look, with this G in his pinnacle. So the middle pillar, guys, is obviously the Jed pillar. It is the column, the single column. When you see a single column, this one has a winged disc, which is the feathered serpent. Okay, guys. It's also represented as Asclepius, which is the pillar with the serpent, which is the Kundalini, Chi, energy, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, your worm that does not die. I'd like to just mention now, because this India video, guys, this India video, I'm struggling on it because don't take this the wrong way if this is your heritage and you're watching this, but the whole thing is nobody. It's not a thing. It's not an origin. It's not a source. It's not a reset. It's not even somebody that championed any of these prior groups through victory. I'm very, very sorry, but the origins of India is Cain passing through that land from China on his return to Egypt as Khufu Zulfu to meet Sneferu and merge both crowns and reclaim his lands. So he travelled through all that area, and just like the whole world, the Neanderthal Benai Elohim, sons of the Elohim, and the sons and daughters of Eve, okay? Everybody knew about this guy who was the first feathered serpent, the guy who claimed to be the Messiah, the world king. On his way through there, he did the same thing that we've talked about in the history series video, and he colonized sons and daughters of Eve, and he taught the Benai Elohim Neanderthals agriculture and civilization and square houses and a town centre. Like we've discussed, guys, all the stuff and the mystery religion and the pyramid and the town hall and everything, how to build cities, civilization, and taught them his agriculture. Then it was flooded, and then people from Samaria, the Fertile Crescent, this after the flood, the Great Reset. This is the cradle of civilization, but only after the reset. The people that came down here, these so-called Assyrians, they uncovered antediluvian ruins and made up stories about what they'd found, and that became the roots of Hinduism, I suppose, because Buddhism, they found the Chinese stuff, Cain's original Chinese stuff, which spread to Hindu because he obviously left them with ways and his religion under his empire rule, and they set off building with his knowledge, and he left on his journey to Egypt. So they built for 1,000 years and became this nation with places like Angkor Wat that's all polygonal, but just from what he left. So this India video I'm struggling with, but reason I'm telling you this, guys, is because to try and explain some of it, at the beginning of it, I've included some of this Wentworth house that I mentioned in the last video. And this column, reason I'm including all this stuff is because this Wentworth house was built and lived in by a Gartenite, and there's follies all around that show this stuff. So the Jed column, the winged serpent, winged disc feathered serpent column, the Asclepius. This thing is called Keppel's column because it's supposed to have been a monument to one of Keppel's victories, Admiral Keppel in Navy, Kings of the Sea. And this single column near Rotherham at Wentworth House is built between these two trees. So it's the middle pillar. Okay, guys. Then we have the Roslin pillar, which is the Caduceus and the Asclepius, the triple X. We've gone through all of this. The Roslin pillar. So the middle pillar, guys. The middle pillar is the host possessed by the spirit of the son of perdition. This is the same stuff right up to like what they were building in Rotherham in the 17th century. Of course, just like Egypt and all these stages and everything else, they deified this, and this is Asclepius. However, Asclepius is one of the only entities, stages, that can be deified, really, because Asclepius, the son of perdition, in his spirit form, is the angel of the bottomless pit, Apollyon, Abaddon. Asclepius is Abaddon, and whether he was Adam and Lily's first son, who Lily sacrificed and passed through the fire, or, well, the other explanation that it was just another fallen angel. I don't know if that fits to me, guys, but this spirit, this angel of the bottomless pit, he needs to be in 7 avatars 7 times. And the 7 seal period, it will be revealed who his host is. And in the time of tribulation, the 7 years after the 6th seal event, he will be in this man. But on the 5th seal, trumpet, sorry guys, my head's truly scrambled and I am rambling. The 5th trumpet, the opening of the bottomless pit, this guy will come out in his true form, and that is this, like what you see represented as Satan in like Arnold Schwarzenegger's End of Days, or just that black monster and Fantasia. That this is him in his true form, but it's this the spirit of the angel of the bottomless pit, the son, the seed of the tree, not the tree, the son of the seed of the tree of knowledge, is this Asclepius. And we find this on the ambulance patch, which the next video, guys, next video is going to be deep and intense, but I'm going to explain pretty much what's going on now today in a coherent way that we can watch and follow through. But Asclepius is on the ambulance patch and is in the reef, which is the crescent, in the orb circumpunct is the 8-pointed star, the crown. Now it's the prince what wears the crown under the king. Not only is this London and Yorkshire and most British ambulance or even NHS logos that's on the Mark Cross, it's on just about every medical patch that you can find on the internet, if it doesn't use the caduceus. And this, like I say, I'm going to cover this. Why? Tie this all in. Why now? But COVID, right, guys? And the NHS in general, these are not your friends. It's certainly not of God. And another thing I'd like to just add, that just throw this in here, this Kundalini rising up the Jed, this up the chakras, this possession, oppression from spirits, and full possession of certain entities in certain genetic match hosts is what was shown. Remember that Megalithic Mania, Hugh released these pictures, and I said that this raising of Kundalini, birthing a host for this spirit to dwell in, is what this stuff was all about. The history series videos in the beginning that I've made said I claim they went from this Vincture Danube area to the Jomon culture. Well, we've just found an image, come across rather, of a Jomon idol, which is pretty much the same as what's been found at Haran Tepe, just in a clay idol, guys, with the serpent rising with the one single orb. So that's the man from Karahan, and the birdman, and the bull, and the Lascaux caves, and the Altimara caves, and the two feathers, and the third feather of Mark being the spirit of Asclepius, the insert, the angel of the bottomless pit. And this was the Neanderthals, the Benai Elohims, the sons of Elohims, ritual to bring about what they believed would be the Messiah. And the guy that come was Cain, and we all know how Cain and his story of Adam and Eve came about. And he, when he was sent to wander, wandered here. The alignment, sorry guys, the alignment, we'll talk about the second degree Masonic tracing board now. So between these two pillars is a temple, and this temple is a man. And we see here Ra coming in his solar boat through a stargate. This is a door with stars in it, guys. This is the real stargate, which is the sun, Sol. This is the way in this place for these things. In the second degree tracing board, we can see him being the light in the dome, the black eye, the black hole sun. Him being the one that takes position of the light, the pineal in the temple. And he's the man that comes out to experience the world. And then he also dies, recycles, and he's the one that traverses the halls of Amente, just like the spirits of the sons of the Elohim, the spirits of the first men, okay? Recycle. And the Masons are awaiting their working Messiah, the middle pillar. Okay, guys? And the third Masonic tracing board for the third degree is death. The third degree learns they must truly kill the old man and give in to their spirit guide. This to me is borderline possession. And of course I've covered all of this, put this together in other videos and shown you how these all fit, and it's just the same stuff. It's what's represented in King Tut's jewel, which hopefully we'll make it to in just a moment. And it's all the other, we know about this, guys. We've seen this a few times now. They kill the old man, right? They knew they had to be born again, but they seek self-ascension. It's possession. Jesus said, let your nine be single. And this is basically the world, this, in the back of the head, look, the world beyond the veil, the world we can't see, Lucifer coming in to the initiate, and inside the initiate's head, in his pineal, this third party entity, this Asclepius, this son of perdition, takes role, of his host, and to the normal standard initiate, this is the spirit guide for them to give in, to be born again and give in to their spirit guide. Okay, guys, this is what Masons are taught, and this is what this all means. Okay, twofold. The Mason has to kill the old man and give in to his spirit guide, and really the higher guys behind, the guys who know the knowledge behind the veil of the third layer of this first board. They know what this is in Egypt as it is in the Orient. They ought to add to that Masonic saying, in Egypt as it is in the Orient, and on every article, media, whatever song, movie released ever, but ayo. Self-ascension, ascension mastery, schizophrenia or spirit possession, the half and half face look. Spirit possession, that's what this stuff is, guys. There's no other word. This, if you want the truth, this is it. The middle pillar. Possessed by the spirit of Asclepius, the son of perdition. And on a basic level, for an initiate of any mystery school or any New Ager, giving in to the spirit guides. But we're talking about the feathered serpents. We're not just talking about you or me or initiates. We're talking about making the avatar for the Antichrist. So how do you make a man? Well, Candy Sucker has been talking about, and I think we can find this at Angkor too. Candy Sucker has a representation of the Holy Grail, which is the phallus entering the yoni, which has the ovaries. And the classic image of the lost Holy Grail is this cup with this red supposed Christian, but really it's Catholic mark, this marked chalice vessel sat on this stone hidden in a cave, and this cave or prison or a prison cave where this guy chalice representation is hidden, is hit by the Ra, the Ray, the enlightenment, the symbolic Ra coming through the Stargate, which here we have. Horus has the feather of Mart and the orb. It doesn't need to be circumpunctured because he is holding the feather of Mart. And the dot, the spot, the legion that makes the circumpunct is the feather of Mart, because they are legion, and all of these are many in one feather. This is the Antichrist that has control. He is the king over all these legion. This is the spirit of the son of perdition in his host. And that's what the Gorgon is. That's why he has all of these, just like the feather, right, guys? These serpents that are eternal, that spiral forever and ever. He is the master of them, the king, the angel over them, the angel over the locust legion. And when the pit is open, their true form, the locust, will come out with him. At the minute, they're channeling in pineals, be it you, me, pagans, Freemasons, Wiccans, Illuminati, whatever, kings and queens, politicians. The Gorgon is the son of perdition, and these are legion. And that's what the feather of Mart is. Not just any run-of-the-mill spirit, but the Asclepius himself, the son of perdition, in spirit, the angel of the bottomless pit that controls the legion, the locust, the scorpion king. I'll quickly recap that the feather of Mart is represented by the Horus lock and this serpent that comes down, the crown of the north that makes up the Artef, when the crown of the north is flanked by the two more feathers of Mart, which are really the three, which is the fleur-de-lis, which we can find in the V, guys, in the womb, to make the orb. Right, guys, the caduceus, the DNA, the man, the two coming together, inserted with the Asclepius. This is what this symbol, Ikdine, I serve, okay, these three feathers in the crown. This is the crown of Osiris in the Prince of Wales logo, which is what we see, just recapping down here, to draw this stuff on purpose. If not to throw you off, then they draw their own extras in. Okay guys, the hand and the rib together. The two lines, bird and serpent. Okay? Sons of Adam and the daughters of Eve. The hand and rib, the bird serpent coming together, possessed by the spirit of the Arton, and the Ankh is the empty host. That's what this is. Here's the half mark. This is a cake, Titian lap. And here we have the solar cross, which is the mark. So the mark and half Asclepius. The Asclepius is not the mark, guys, and we'll get to this soon, I hope. It seems to be not flowing very well, but I'm trying to give you the information, guys. This, of course, together is the triple X, the triple helix, the 7 wannabe messiahs. And I showed you this in the fleur-de-lis in the womb is the Baphomet crown, and it is on Happy and Osiris and Tlaloc from the Codex. He is the winged disc, the bird serpent, the horned that carries, the horned viper, the eternal worm that does not die of the horned viper. And this is a title, not a name, and he is hand through Adam and rib through Eve, so he is both lines. So he was definitely Adam's son, because Adam had the Benai Elohim genes, and the rib was taken from him. But he had the orb, and the orb was marked, and he was half Asclepius. So this Horus was born of Eve, and deposited, and was born. This is the feathered serpent. This is the Horus lock. This is Horus with the horns. Just recapping, guys. Now, Cain came as the first emperor back to Saqqara, and Saqqara, Joseph Pyramid, right, guys? The first inhabitants, Sneferu, submitted to Khufu, right, and gave him the Artef, symbolic, the crown of the north. And that's why pharaohs have Khufu's crown of the south and Sneferu, crown of the north. But Sneferu, he didn't have the feathers of Mar, he was no Horus. That's why he submitted. That's why he only had this symbolic crown, right? But this is symbolic of the Horus, the hand and the rib, half Asclepius, and he was marked the Horus. So this, I believe, was built by Cain originally. I'll show you this later, guys, in the next video. And this nut, I didn't make the profanities, the seed, the semen, okay, guys? The spirit coming out, the seed of the spirit, the son of perdition. And this, if you remember, I did some searches and it came out with these. This one-eyed vampire, which is what it symbolizes. This Lestat the vampire-looking guy with this man on his shoulder. And these clown vampire type multicolored trippy figures with no hands, with funny hands. And again in the next video I'll show you about these hands. It's the thing, it's not just AI. The reliefs all have trippy hands. And this face hidden by symbols, vampire teeth and half one winking eye, or a vessel with an arrow pointing to the eye. It is a Freemason thing. They use the face and the smileys and symbols to make pictures of faces. I'll show you this, guys, but just for now, see this little papyrus reconstruction with the two eyes and the nose and the mouth, but this mouth, it has this like stroke kinda. So this artist painted this picture of this Lestat looking guy, and we've covered this shoulder shadow demon in the rear multiple times now. This just simply means possession. It's just another way of an artist drawing it. And here, you're aware of Gustav Klimt's kiss. Well, this is Phrygia, the Red Queen, and here we can see a face, a red-haired woman on her shoulder, behind her. She's putting the serpent into the bowl. You might remember a long time ago, guys, I made a video about this photo in the house of the royal family with George and this eerily unwell, unhealthy looking top hat wearing man on the side-on view. And I explained all of this again. This is possession, symbolic of it, and he is the strange man out of Red Dead Redemption 2 and 1, I think. But there's more about him in Red Dead 2. But this top hat, he is this. I'll get to this soon, guys. Let me try and get through this quick. I'm not doing too well on these videos lately. So the side-on view, look on in the tomb of Hashtepsut, the Etruscan stuff, the side-on view in the Ouroboros. It's the symbolic of the two heads in one body on the idols all the way. We find them in the Levant and across the world. We've covered these. And the two-headed man at Karahan in the Sanliurfa Museum. Russ Abbott did a skit of this guy with a guy on his shoulder, two heads. And this is the side-on face of this picture of Mr. Savile, that now we can also understand this smoke like light and the blue like lightning. This is all cigar smoke, guys, obviously, but the lighting and the blue, this guy was somebody special, okay, guys? But two faces, possession, or at least channeling and enlightenment. But in case of what we're talking about, real hosts for real entities. So another thing that it came up with was the jester's staff. Well, it came up with this picture of the jester covering one eye, relieving his right eye, and this staff. And the staff being well, a dread column, the middle pillar, really. A face, an entity all on its own. The jester controls this entity. Okay? Here he is behind. Now we know the symbolism of behind now. We've seen this on the Karahan Tepe Dogman and the Red Jade, and we've seen it on this slide that I explained a minute ago. This guy behind him, this jester, is controlling this man through possession. The jester has his wand with the head on it, which can also be found as lucky a circumpunct, guys. Okay, this guy, Tricky Jimmy, he was host to the same entity that was channeling and hosting Iwas. He was channeling Lamb, the Iwas. He was channeling him, guys, the dragon. And it's Jumping Jack Flash from Crowley to Savile, and that's who I believe this guy is, and why he was mates with the Prince of Wales, and why he could poke Charles and do all sorts of it, and all Tricky Jim, you see, a little bit tricky. He was the man, and now he's dead. I believe now this same spirit, the dragon, is giving orders to his new puppet, Mr. T, from Fart Towers. So understanding conspiracy, this is where I started to get confused, and I'll show you why, guys. I showed you that we can find these hidden clowns all in Egypt in these tombs, and this Egypt clown, we're just recapping here because these are slides out of the last video. Clown faces symbolically hidden in second layers because it's a man and some other stuff going on. It's not really pictures of what we can see. Here's the bottom of a coffin and the panda eyes. You know, the panda. Well, look at this, guys. Look at this, like, bear. And some of you now will be familiar with the bear symbology. What with the Balenciaga, the Balenciaga stuff. But this bear has a smiling face. His eyes have clown-like makeup. He has blood or something running out of his eyes. The vampire teeth being the beard and his crown chakra being a beetle. But do you see the face, guys? It's not as simple as this one, but it is there. And it's not pareidolia. It is done with intent by holders of some of the knowledge and examples of how to present one thing but be giving on to people in the know something totally different. Okay, guys, and I'll not drag this out, but this Toth entity beheads this guy. He's dead, buried in the Karahan position. He's the child of Mart. He recycles the Roborosses from the two coming together into the new host Pharaoh, who holds the Asclepius, the spirit, the worm that does not die, of the son of perdition, the seed that the dragon gave his power to. That's what can be seen here in Highlander. And the frill, no frills, guys. This is, I'm being deadly serious. The frill, this is not going to happen if you see somebody having an accident in their neck, but if you find the host of the son of perdition and give him the head wound, you will see the frill. You will see the frill, guys, for real. And that's who Athena is. Mart Hathor, Sekhmet, the mother of all the Elohim's children, because the Elohim made a male and a female, and she is the female, and all her children become spirits. And that's the Gorgon. She is the mother. This is the Karahan Tepe site represented at Dendera. And that's what this is. Look, coming down onto the face at Karahan for the ray, the alignment. And then we got to this, and this stumped me. But that's because I'd put the wrong woman in here, and I couldn't understand what I'd done and how to explain it. And I don't know still. I've found out and forgot. I'm overwhelmed, guys, and I'm sorry. The names of these two giants. But this is how the slide should have been. The red woman, Mart Hathor, sacrificed her son with Adam, passed him through the fire, and he became the first to enter the abyss, the bottomless pit. He's the one. These things can go in anything carbon, guys. These things can go in diamonds, in coal, in any carbon-based life form that's unclean. So not in clean animals, guys. Only in unclean ones and unclean humans and trees. Okay, guys? So his spirit could go into the tree and into the seed and be the son of Adam and Mart dead if they don't go to another place to wait and live once. If they do the recycling, guys, and are the clean and unclean spirits that we test, and this guy is the first, and only through running off and channeling Lucifer and whatever beasts Ram Man he was in, did this guy become the son of perdition. And he was placed in Aphrodite, who is Isis, who is Eve. And here he is, born as a Nephilim. But this is most likely, with wings, the son of perdition. The spirit of Asclepius the Gorgon. And when the sons of these Neanderthal sons of Elohim, Benai Elohim, came into the daughters of men, that's when they started making these hybrids that started as Denisovans and ended up as rampant, out of control giants that built their own temples to the mother goddesses. Okay? To the mother goddess and to the triple mother goddess. The virgin and the temple prostitute. The giants. That gave rise to bad guys becoming heroes by slaying the giants and taking their legion. And it's all the same stuff, guys. Here we see Aphrodite against this column, this ionic goat's head pillar with this angel son. Here they are bringing him up, Aphrodite, and the names are all changed in the Greeks. The sons of Japheth that became the Spartans and the Greeks, and they uncovered all their places, antediluvian ruins, and gave them all names and stuff. But this is Adam and Eve with Cain. Here they are in the garden with the tree that we saw in Egypt, with Mart Hathor being the tree that pours out her vessel, and all the dots, legion, feathers of Mart, whatever, come out, guys. This is Adam and Eve, and the black spirit going into her son that becomes this guy. He's basically a Horus, but he is Apollyon. Now, guys, Apollyon is one name given in scripture for the angel of the bottomless pit. This, of course, is a recurring theme throughout time, how the old ones became the heroes by slaying the giants. And that's what Horus in his pigman set meat suit, Horus in his set animal, slaying the Apophis, the Apep, sorry, slaying Apep is George and the Dragon. And we see George and the Dragon on the jewel what hangs on the sash. So Neptune slaying this giant, Set in his pig set animal meat suit host, slaying Apep. This is what we see here. We see Horus getting his power. Horus the Beast, who is the man from Karahan with the feather of Mart recycled, getting his power from the dragon. Wepwet, it's not a hippo or guys. It's the dragon. The beast got the dragon gave power to the beast. Okay, guys, and he is slaying this little baby serpent dragon. The Nephilim, guys, the heroes they became, mighty men of old, men of renown. The Baphomet is the Horus, and this is Bess, the chief Gorgon. We've talked about this pig, this Set animal, this meat suit, this spotted boar, and we've followed it from Catalhoyuk, which is the roots of the Catholics. Okay, guys? It's in the tepe, the boar, the spotted boar, with the bird and serpent skin, the bird serpent in the spotted boar. The bird serpent is the title, Horus, Quetzalcoatl, Garuda. It's all a title, like the Prince of Wales is a title of the spotted boar. And we found him in the Hongshan Museum, this spotted aardvark, becoming like an aardvark, and this is what came into Egypt, that in this Tutankhamun's papyrus shows Horus, the bird serpent carrying the worm that does not die of the son of perdition in his meat suit, the spotted boar and the pig. That's why the Legion has to go into the swine, okay? Slaying Apep, playing hero. And what's going to happen, guys, is when this all kicks off for the 7th time, right? When the Cabal's exposed and everything goes bad, the guy that steps up to be the hero will be the son of perdition revealed. How can we expect to not find the Set animal amongst the Sangshandway cache, guys? This doesn't go away. This cat's out of the bag. You can probably hear, and this is all hard for me, but how could we have a Set animal and not find him at Sangshandway? I mean, we've even had the unicorn. And this Lucas Ampi guy that I'm friends with, that I keep telling you about on his Facebook and YouTube channel, he's found this Sangshandway man, this bronze artifact, in Mexico. Like I said, he's one of the master dot joiners, but I'm not convinced about his beliefs, guys, okay? I don't know how long we've been rolling, but it's 2:23 a.m. here, guys. I'll just keep going. I said about India, it's passing through, and it grew and grew from what was left there by Cain before he moved on. It's not a seat of a world king or anything, but it tells the story of Cain, the world's first emperor, from Catalhoyuk, the feathered serpent, but the swine, the spotted swine that we've just followed again to China, right? In India, he's, oh, and I forgot this guy's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But he's the boar, he's the Set animal with the spotted, dotted circumpunct. Here he is with this giant mace and the pine on the pine on the vine of Hanuman. So Hanuman is Baal Adam and Eve's son that was sacrificed and became into the tree, the son of perdition. This is this guy in his meat suit. This is Cain. Vishwara? Not sure, guys. Here he is, look, getting these Naga serpent people and lifting up his mother. We can see the orb, so over here is the circumpunct held by this hand. Over here is a hand and the circumpunct. So the Neanderthals circumpunct and the orb is this the same guy. This is this is an inside joke of them and their hosts calling the pre-antediluvian sons of Adam meat suits, just like they call them spiders. It is Set, the Set animal. Now this bull and slaying bulls, this host killing the darkness and saving us from the giants. It's a repetitive theme, guys, over and over. I'd like to tell you guys about this Ica stone. If you look at this Ica stone, it's another representation of George slaying the dragon, of Set slaying Apep, who is the title Horus, on the Ica stones. But this dragon, what he's slaying, I'm not convinced that this is a vulture that we see on Pillar 43, guys, anymore. I'm not convinced that this is a vulture at all. But it's certainly the Long Wang Dragon King, Biggest, Monty's Python from Pillar 43. Is this the dino? Right, guys. So, across these cultures, we find Moche, the beheader, AI Ipec, and he's holding this mace, look, this wand, this scepter. But he has the axe on his chest, and he's holding the head of, right guys, the black and red striped man who has the diagonale, which is the ray, the spirit of Asclepius. Okay, guys, and we see this spiral. Now remember, I believe that the spiral can represent the Legion. The spiral going into this fruit. I believe that this is Cain. This is what we see here, Kali, the giant slayer, slaying giants, the one who killed Cain, the one who killed Vishnu, the host of the serpent, the spirit. Kali is the spirit that was in Lamech. Okay, guys, Kali, the destroyer, of Lamech, who killed Cain. I told you that's what's going off here a few times now, guys. The beheading of the feathered serpent Cain by old Lamech. And of course the dragon here is overseeing this, like we see time and time again. But this is a bird, and these are the serpents. This is the bird serpent. This is Cain, and here's his worm that does not die. This what I forgot the name of, guys. This is Uxmal. I believe this is where they were beheading giants. But this seven-headed, serpent-headed man, this is literally, this again is the hero. This is the feathered serpent, the 7 times of beheading. So this guy, again, this guy must be Cain. And this stela is found from El Baul. So these beheadings were of giants. But this is the death and rebirth of the sun god. Do you see the difference, guys? Okay, so we behead giants and we take on their legion, but only the genetic match host can take on the spirit of the son of perdition, who there are 7 of. There are 7 bird serpents. This is a throne, master of animals, but it is a guillotine chopping block, as I've said to you multiple times before, and we can find this in the Aztec culture. So the Azteca, right, the A to Z, tech, A to Z, okay guys, has this double-headed chopping block and this clown-faced orb that carries the fasces. This Aztec culture beheaded whoever carried the fasces before. I believe this is the spirit of the son of perdition, who is the clown, the literal clown face that we've just seen in Egypt. Okay? Beheaded. This is Cain, the Horus who carried the fasces. We're going to get this explained and thrashed out, guys, if you just bear with me. So we see the mother, Titi, with the 8 stars, okay guys? And the 8th is one of the 7. This is a representation of the same 7 hosts carrying the mark. He hosts the spirit of the tree and is marked. This guy's Enki in the pineal gland hosting the serpent crown, Anunnaki crown, to say he's got a head full of legion. Him and these 6 is the 7. This is the 7 serpents, as I've shown you this from El Baul. Okay guys, this is what this 7-headed beast here, and the, is it 7-headed Hydra? Hercules, look, he has his club. He's not a club, this is Asclepius. Hercules is Cain, okay guys? And he went around being a hero, killing monsters and all sorts of Nephilim and whatever had been messed about with, and creation had been altered. But this painting symbolizes the 7-headed, the 7 avatars of Bud. These things, guys, can be cross-related across the world, as I've shown you. Here is Pakal receiving his mask. Okay, he has the circumpunct, he has the hand bearing the lotus, a fish coming in. He has this winged disc which has the T, and is sat on the double-headed jaguar throne. Just like the Vincher man from the Vincher culture, that was the black and red man, sat on the double-headed lion throne. Pakal had his Popol Vuh, and he has these plates, and on this plate is a tree with a triple, well, 2 lines and a line of dots. So the triple helix, this is the pillar, the tree, the middle column, this is the pillar from the Knights Templar Church in Roslin Chapel. I'm getting overwhelmed, guys. We see this red serpentine spirit, and the scorpion is the Scorpion King, king over the scorpions, in the pineal gland. Okay, guys? Red and black man. And this Lucas Ampi, I've looked 5 years, guys, I've been looking for this, to find an image or a relief or anything of Pakal with a bird serpent crown like Tux. See the band and the bird and the serpent. Tut had a bird and a serpent, not just a serpent, guys. And I was convinced Pakal had a bird and a serpent and it was lurking somewhere. Luca Zampe has found Pakal with the bird serpent hat, which I believe is the bird and the horned serpent viper. Man with his arms raised in the air, which if you turn this upside down is the Prince of Peace. Interesting, guys. I come across this at Anglesey. Now, these stone circles at Anglesey, Max said that there were tombstones represent what tombstones are a memory of, which would mean that this could be the place of a burial. And I'm told, so it's law in England, that these are the burials of giants. And look at the shape of this. It's just like the semen, the sperm. And there's an enclosure. Right, guys, there's literally an enclosure, and I'm betting my money that in here they had the Druids, this is. The Druids, who, of course, right, guys, so the original people, the Picts, the Picti, come from the Tuatha De Danann, right, guys, who, basically, the people who were in Canaan, the United Nations, the Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Hittites, the Philistines, the Phoenicians, right, guys? Joshua cleared them all off, and the Phoenicians were the sailed from Canaan, and they are the origins of the Native Americans when they went to the New World the first time, okay? Kicked out of Canaan, right? Phoenicians, the United Nations Mark II. And they landed on the west coast of Ireland, and covered the isles, travelling eastward. And their magi, their shaman, became the Druids. So they fetched this Canaan, land of Canaan, this mystery religion with them, the Tuatha De Danann, okay? And if this was a recreation of what I think it is, and what you guys probably think it is now already, then the deaths, the sacrifices, would have been what these orbiting, because there's the tombstone in the middle and the 4 columns for the 4 pillars of light. Do you see what I'm saying here, guys? Okay, so they were recreating the Kararantepe ritual at Anglesey. The Druids, who were the Tuatha De Danann descendants, and the Picts, okay, right, that were basically Phoenician sea people who were cleared off by Joshua out of Canaan. The ones that didn't move a bit north and stay around. Okay? They came to the Isles, and that's why there were giants and Tuatha De Danann and Celts and Picts, and they went across to the New World, and that's where these natives, these colonizers, came from. The Phoenician sea people. They were from Canaan, guys, the original people, who had mingled genes and Semitic genes mixed within them anyway. Remember, guys, that Abraham came out of all of this in the beginning of the reset, the Great Reset. Abraham came out of Babel, guys. Came out of Sanley Eartha. Okay, guys? And the Canaanites, the Phoenician sea people that cleared off to the New World and to the Isles. Makes you wonder about this, guys, right? The saying this week is not a calendar. Let me tell you about these alignments and these sites, Stonehenge and all these stone circles, and Göbekli Tepe being a calendar. My God put those stars in the sky. He made them and set them in their places. And he made them to tell the story. His story, okay? Let that sink in if you're a pagan, or if you're just here for the megaliths, my version of the story. My God made those stars and he set them in his place. And these are just trying to observe it and work out what it means. And to those with knowledge, doing their own little rituals at the certain times they believe is necessary, based on that. Okay, guys? Not the other way around. And that's the connection to the skies and all these alignments and everything else. Okay, guys? The Druids come from the Tuatha De Danann shamans, who were the cleared off people of Canaan, the Phoenician sea people, the United Levant, Mark II because they're after the flood. Of course, then we have the Cern Abbas, okay? Look at his large erect phallus and his knotted club Asclepius. Okay, guys? And I forgot what this is even called, and this is in my own country. This the middle pillar between the two pillars, the twin staffed rod god, carved into chalk hills, guys. Now, what I wanted to explain is this mark. We know that Cain is supposedly Hand, son of Adam, through Adam's genes, because all the Neanderthals were sons of Adam, the Benai Elohim, because the Elohim made Adam and the female. And the Elohim themselves, well, we'll save that for the next video. But the Elohim made Adam and the female, and they were red, made in the image of the Elohim, red. Cain was Hand through his father and Rib through his mother Eve, who was taken from the rib. Cain was Hand and Rib, possessed by the spirit of the son of perdition, the worm that never dies, the Asclepius, down the middle pillar. Cain, who he was, and what possessed him, is not the mark, okay, guys? That's why there's a half and this X marks the spot glyph. Now, this glyph, guys, this glyph is the Egyptian glyph they say for city. Because you are a strong city. You are not you. You are a spirit. You have a soul in a body. You have a pineal gland. You channel your body. You use your body. Your thoughts are in. You are your thoughts. But you want to pick up that cup, to take that drink. Your spirit tells your body and controls your body to move your hand, to taste, to bring the cup to your mouth, to taste the fluid in the cup. Your spirit uses the flesh to experience this realm of this test place we're in. The sons of the first men, the spirits, want to use your pineal too and taste through your body. But your body is not you. Your body is a living entity, or made of gazillions of living entities, all of itself. Cells, your cells are little entities with life inside them, all on itself. That's why the worm does not die, but the spirit leaves the flesh, and all these cells, they start to die. Okay, guys? To understand what I've just told you guys. So your body is made up of cells, and Cain was red in the image of Elohim, who was possessed by the spirit of Asclepius from birth, the triple X. It has nothing to do with this X. Cain was scared when he was banished of the people in the world who Who were they if they weren't the Neanderthals? The Beni Elohim, the sons of the Elohim. The sons and daughters of Adam and the female. Because only Adam and Eve came, Abel is killed Abel. And maybe that they did have sisters and took the sisters as wives, I don't know. Who's they scared of out in the world that scripture is scripturally sound? That Cain marked him so everyone was terrified of him and not kill him. I'll tell you how he marked him, guys. He gave him a melanello sight overload. Now don't get this wrong. This has nothing to do with race. All races and racism and everything associated with that comes from the period after the flood and the three sons of Noah off the boat. That's your races and your racism and your ideologies about all that. Don't get this twisted up what I'm saying here, guys. I'm not saying he was melanated. I'm saying he had a melanocyte storm, like they've been talking about cyclotine storms, okay, with this vaccine. The mark was the melanite storm, and it made the red man striped, tiger style. Kung Zufu's Kung Fu, tiger style. Okay, guys, from China. Okay, guys. Cain was the red and black man. He was a red man, marked with a melanocyte overload. And of course, the Nephilim were white as snow. But with the same melanocyte overload. The same mark. Okay, guys. Because when the hand and rib, the Neans, Ben Elohim, and the ribs, daughters of Eve, come together once more, it made abominations. Marked abominations. That when these guys die, these guys become the legion. Not the unclean spirits, which are the first men. The Hans Neanders. Okay, guys, the Beni Elohim, the sons of the Elohim. And why they were red and who the Elohim are is what I'm going to address in the next video. And I was going to end it there saying about Tiger Style and make part 3. The Wu-Tang, Wuhan, Tiger Style, and what Wuhan and the vaccine and all of this, how this all connects together. But me being me, I ended up adding, like I said, to this 3-4 minute recap of from where I left off on the last video. And now it's turned into quite its own animal, which we'll carry on with. So this tree with this nut, which is the seed of the vampire, which is the Scorpion, sorry. The Asclepius Scorpion King. Okay, guys, we can see these faces, our faces, hidden in other symbols, and this is a thing that the Freemasons have used since the Dragon Court. We can see that it is these dots, okay, this nut is marked Hathor pouring out her vessel. I know this is long-winded, guys, but I'm going to get into this now, I hope, from here on in. Really, this is part 3 of the 7 feathered serpents, and the last however long hour were just stuff I added to where I fluffed up last time. So this woman in this tree is the spirit of the female after she suicided herself, and herself became a spirit because she was the first female. So she becomes spirit, so she can go into the tree. She's the serpent in the tree. And this is Lilith, and this is Eve, who is Isis, the white woman. She's been channeled in her pineal gland, represented here by this bird with the pot with the rib, because she was taken from the rib, and her pot was made, and with spirit in it. So this glyph here is Eve, and this serpent is the seed. This serpent is Nut. This is the son, the spirit of the son of perdition. And up here we can see 5, okay guys, circumpunts. The feathered serpent, this is marked, dead, her feathers, this is her vessel, pouring out her vessel. Here guys, pouring out the vessel. And the nut, okay guys, the legion, the seed, coming in to 4 middle pillars, 4 dread columns with faces. I told you this guys, I'll try and be quick, I've already done this just not 2 videos ago. This temple in their head is where these spirits are, because even the temples are made like bodies, like I said, because you are the temple and the spirits, and spirit for the spirit to dwell in. Let thine mind be single, not full of all this, and become a nut case, a case for a nut, okay? To bust a nut, to create these 4 Antichrist vessels is totally separate, but don't get your head full of this nut stuff and become a nutter, a nutcase. You'll end up in the nut house, okay? But this is Mark pouring out her vessel, the nut, into Cain, Tubal Cain, then the flood, look, the boat and the water, into Nimrod, and into King Tut, the nut in Tut. Tut, the Ankh of Amun. Tut and Amun. Tut with nut. The Ankh of Amun. Tutankhamun. The 4th feathered serpent. The 4th bird serpent. Okay, guys. Deposited into his mother. This is obviously not Eve. This is the 4th time round. Semiramis was the 3rd version of this virgin, supposed virgin. I highly doubt that the Mystery Babylon, Immaculate Conceptions, we've already learnt, guys. I'm sorry about the vulgarity, that they were running trains on these highly fertile virgins, and she may even have been a temple prostitute, but she was a specific genes, which is where the royalty comes from, and why they keep these bloodlines, because they have to have the certain genes. So guys, that is what this is all showing. The nut coming down, the legion, the spirits, these from Karahan into the man, and working up till you're a nutcase for the nut ward in the nut house, till you're a nutter. Nut. And I said that I'd show you how this, one of the layers, so I believe the first layer of this symbol is the guillotine, the beheading to release the spirit, the orb, the soul, right? The second layer is the 2 mountains and the sun going between them. Horus Aracti, Horus of the horizons, uses this symbol because it is the sun between the 2, but it's not mountains, it's pillars, but let's roll with mountains. So it's Horus Aracti, the sun between the horizon. So the guillotine and the solar alignment between the 2 peaks, twin peaks, between the twin peaks, we'll roll with that. The third layer is the knees and the giving birth, the birth stage. It's the 3 meanings, because all this stuff, guys, it's all about the death and rebirth of the sun god in a host. And here is the red woman, Titi, marked Hathor, we can tell with the hair, it's all the same, it's the triple goddess, pouring out her vessel. Here we can see her pouring out Nut, the spirit, into this person with the pineal gland. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know that the other one had 5, but that's because it shows you the 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that made 5, and this is 1. I'll explain this literally, guys, in a moment. But it's all the same stuff. And this, my family tree, what I made from the beginning of scripture, is looking to at least 100% be legit. The workings of the mystery religion, literally the mysteries of the ages. I'm still believing, guys, that this could be true and exactly how this all went down. She is the serpent in the tree of knowledge, and the spirit of the seed of the tree went out. Because she's its mother, and it's gone in the tree itself. So she's got its serpent, and serpent's coiled round tree, and got to partake of the fruit of the tree. So the white woman's took the fruit of the tree containing the seed of nut. This is Adam and Eve and Lilith. But in Egypt, here now, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, guys? And Athena, this is just, the Greeks just remembered it all. They were sons of Japheth. Okay? They weren't Semitic or Hamitic. So the 7 ducks, the 8 stars, and the 8 is one of the 7. The 4, this is Tutankhamun. We have 4. And here, guys, here we have 1. So remember, I've just been saying, I know this sounds like ramblings of a madman now, guys, but I've just been saying that the 5, what we saw on the previous papyrus, showed the 4 and the 1. Well, this is the 1. This is the original 1 from Karahan Tepe. The Vishnu going into the crescent, the fleur-de-lis, the 1 circumpunct, when 2 people come together. And this feathered serpent coming down, this feathered serpent coming down in is the Vishnu. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So guys, this is the 5th. I believe, guys, that what this is showing is the 7 ducks, or the 7 hosts of Baal, who is the man who had this done to him, this beheading, and passed through the fire, and all of this stuff after he'd been put in that hole in Karahan, right? This is Baal. And these are his 7 ducks, 7 avatars. And these stars represent him and his 7 avatars, which are the 7 avatars of Bud. And as we see it over here with Bud, we have the 8, which 8 is one of the 7. And this is him in spirit form, so this doesn't count. And he's also symbolic of the white horse. He's the rider of the white horse. So this does not count, right? So the 8 and the 8, but the 8 is one of the 7. Okay, guys, so if Cain was first, which we know, and Nimrod, 2-ball Cain, 2 balls in a cane, 2 of these balls, 2 of these circumpuncts, 2 balls, 2 of these balls in a cane, 2-ball Cain. And Nimrod was the 3rd, and this is after the flood, and the 4th host, who had Nut, Mart's pouring out her vessel into this man. This man is King Tut, Ankh of our moon. Okay, guys, so this must be the 5th. So who is this? The 7 avatars, the 7 ducks of the spirit of Baal, the man from Karahan, Ka of Ra in Han. In Cain, the first Chinaman, Quinn Han. 2 come together. See, they're circumpunct in the crescent. This, guys, right? You won't believe it. But sticking with this video, this is the Vincher man, Cain, and he is the black and red man, and the bidisc is this 1 circumpunct, because he ended up in China, and he is the one circumpunct. He is the first. He is Zufu with his hat, who is also, when he returned from China, when he went through India, he returned, and he is Khufu with his same hat on, guys. And Saqqara was built by Khufu. I will show you this in the next video. Saqqara and the Joza complex, the first stages, because he was the great builder. And even in the early days, they were making small 18 by 18 inch polygonal blocks. Nice, crisp, finished ashlar versions. Not hewn stones. The walls that surround Joza complex. And in the Joza complex we find the hand and the rib, half spirit, and the mark is the Horus. Okay, guys? And then over in Americas, we find this guy, ton of Tahuti. A ton of Tahuti. Well, Tahuti, really, all of these children of their father, the devil, the legion, aren't they? All of it. And I'll explain why. The children of the devil and the children, and why Yeshua came for his own, not for everyone. Okay, guys? I'll explain this in this very next video, and I know that this is very, very, very rambly and incoherent, and I'm gonna polish this up, guys, but this is my attempt, my very first attempt at the E equals MC squared, guys. This is hard, guys, right? But this is Cain. He's the first one possessed by Baal. He's the black and red marked Vincher man. His first empire was in China. He is Zufu, who became... Zufu is the golden vessel of Bud. He became known as Khufu. He's the hand and rib, the half spirit, Asclepius, the fleur de lis, the triple. But he is marked. That's why he's red and black, because of his melanocyte overload. And this bird, because all of this grouping means Horus, which is a title, like line manager. It is not a name. Well, here he is, Cain, in South America, because this guy can't sit still. He reclaimed Saqqara and built the first stage of the Joza pyramid complex. But then he built a city for his son and named it Karnak, after Enoch. Okay? And then he went, because he can't stay put, a curse put on him to be a wanderer, a nomad, not settle anywhere. And he went to South America. That's Cain. And this is Tubal Cain. There's not very many representations of Tubal Cain to be found out there. Unless you can sit through a 2-hour rambling from They Tell Too Many Lies. What we find out there is things like this Masonic Tubal Cain badge, which is this cane and two balls in a cane. So even the Masons say it like this, guys, okay? 2 balls in a cane, and they're even crescented, right? In this crescent, which is an Ouroboros knot. And at the ends are his hands, okay? And the as above, up and down chevrons, which is the how to make a man intercourse. Yoni and Linger to make this. Complement it. Like I say, we can't find much about Tubal Cain out there in the real world, on the internet, in books, anywhere. Antediluvian. They're not even bothered trying to look or find out who this guy is. But apparently, this is the most important guy to Masons, Tubal Cain. It very well may be that the 8th It's Tubal Cain. He's their guy anyway. This is the unicorn tapestries. The Rothschilds own the unicorn tapestries. Tubal Cain and his dog. Okay? We've gone through all this dog stuff. I know of the abyss. The pillar, look. You see the pillar, guys? It's a tree, but it's a pillar. And the dog at the pillar, Tubal Cain. The artificer of metals, the blacksmith. Here he is, smiling. This guy's Thor. The Greeks, sons of Japheth. Japheth had knowledge before the flood. Thor is legends of Tubal Cain. And Thor's hammer because he's a blacksmith, okay guys? And the lightning because he was possessed by Baal. And I heard a noise as if it were the sound of thunder. And Thor is possessed by his brother Loki, who is Xotl, Anubis, the trickster. He is Baal, the horned god. Loki possesses Thor. This is Tubal Cain. But there are places where if you know where to look, we can find them, guys, in real world representations. So if this is Cain, who is Khufu, who was Zufu, who was the Venture Man, who was the hand and rib, possessed by the spirit of the son of perdition, and marked with his over-melanocyted skin that turned the red man eventually black. His descendants were Lamech, Olmec, the Olmecs. Lamech was king of this Olmec civilization, but Cain was still alive, and he was king of the entire world in his eyes, and he had his the Teotihuacan and to Enoch the Titlan, to Enoch the Titan. Right? That's not Karnak, the city after Enoch. This is much later. Enoch, Karnak, had grown. We're talking 1500 years, guys, right? We're talking 1500 years from Cain to Lamech, and Lamech slaying Cain and bearing Tubal Cain, the strange shining son of Lamech. The Olmec culture, right, guys? It was Lamech's time. And when he slew Cain, he took on his legion and the spirit, like we see in Highlander, like we see in the Dendera bulb. But he didn't become the Quetzalcoatl. He just took that on in his pineal. Of course, this works by, as we've seen with Adam and Eve in the tree, and Nimrod and Semiramis, this works by birth. And Enoch, right? I said I wasn't sure about Enoch book. I said that these guys, like Andrew Collins, is using Enoch, and I said I'm not sure it's on fence. But I'll tell you now, guys. Get your book of Enoch and chuck it in the bin, because the strange shining son of Lamech in the book of Enoch is Tubal Cain, and here he is. We can see him as white as snow, like the Nephilim, right? And we can see him in here, Tubal Cain. He has, he's not in best shape, but he's got these vampire fangs drawn on this idol. Vampire fangs, clown eye makeup, and the Egyptian eye, kind of. And something going on down here, this, what I would say, is the red and black image of a Gorgon. He had the Gorgon tattooed on him, and the pharaonic beard. And Lamech looks like he's out of Africa. He's got a head full of these spots, look, these dots, because this Lamech is who called Khan, right? Lamech slew Khan, who had a ton of Tuti in him, right? And he was buried at Khan, right? Because Tuti and Khan. right? There's the mercury and all of that stuff. Okay, guys. And Tubal Cain, 2, was the second feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl. So this is Cain. Tonatiuh is Cain, who was slain by Lamech, the Olmecs. And this is Tubal Cain, the Quetzalcoatl. So here we have Cain and his culture's representation of him. Now here, this is where we can break down the styles of the Olmecs and the Aztecs and just all of them, guys, right? The Moches. This is Cain's culture style. So he was king in what we call the South Americas. This is his style. This is an Olmec representation of Cain, the Chinaman, the traveller from Nod. Okay, and here we have some jade artifact from Guatemala or Colombia somewhere. This guy. Now again, this guy we're knocking on. He was like 1200 years old or something at this point. And he carries the lion. Look, he's the Lion King. Remember the wooden lion and Woden and all that stuff. And then we followed the lion, master of animals, the Lion King, guys. Okay, this is Cain, represented at hundreds and hundreds of years apart at different times, even by different cultures. Because Lamech's culture made this. And here is Cain on the bottom of an Olmec pillar, because this is what they thought of him. Put him on the bottom of a pillar, right, guys, and stood this pillar up. This is a section of a pillar. And he has the 2 tassels from Karahan that's on the Chacmol. Okay. He has the long head. He has this serpent going into the back of him. He has the bird, so he's the first bird serpent, the 1 orb, and then this trinity thing, which is the Caduceus and the Asclepius together, guys. He's the Axeman. This is Cain. And the foot is because he's the traveller, the nomad. And look at these swirly, curled up things on the front of his toe-up feet, on his shoes. This is the traveller, Cain, who was killed by Lamech, the Olmec, and they put him on the bottom of this pillar, and when they stood it up, he'd be underneath this pillar. And this, guys, this, here's Crazy J and his wild claims. This is the first burial mask of the feathered serpent, number 1, 1 ball in a cane. This is Cain's death mask, guys, and this was found at Teotihuacan. Okay? To say this is some goddess. This is Cain. Look at the marks on him. Look at the black lines. He's the bird serpent. You see the serpent? The feathered serpent coming out of the top. And the bird. Now Tubal Cain learned how to forge metals. At this point, in this culture, Cain, who was a master craftsman and builder of wood and stone. But he was not the blacksmith. And that's why this mask is what it is. If you look through just to see him underneath, he's yellow himself. Here, look, his neck. Or is that gold? Because he's possessed by the son of the spirit of the son of perdition, the sun god, Viracocha. And not only did Cain build Tiwanaku, Cain built Pumapunku. That high level, the highest level, the highest knowledge of stone building we see on the planet, the H blocks and all that interlocking stuff, that was Cain's handiwork. Okay, guys? He was the Viracocha. And this is Olmec style. Olmec. Now this one's made up, guys, I believe, I would assume anyway. The boxer, you put this in here, boxing, because I thought it would be very, very relevant. Now, Lamech, with his head full of legion, and the boxing. The reason I included it is because this relief from El Baul. Now El Baul has the 2 balls in a cane. So this is 2-ball cane. And he's become the Anubis, who's howling. Baul. Okay, right guys. At the bearded man who's dead on the floor. Victory. And here we can see the sun god giving him his regalia, which he's got on here, which is also quite interesting. This is Lamech, and this is 2-ball cane. It's a bit unclear, guys, but if you go and look at better pictures of this, all of this mouth and round it is red, as if he'd been eating people or something. So understanding conspiracies, if you do make it through all of this rambling, red mouth, it looks on this idol, statue, whatever, like even as a young boy, feeding him children. This can be seen better on this one. I'm not sure if this is Hubal, because this guy looks fit and healthy, apart from him being white. Hubal, obviously being the brother of Tubal Cain. Look, he's got an elongated skull. Okay. Now this, I believe, is Tubal Cain, as he's grown, and he's got all these welts. He's got his cleft lip, which is notorious with Cain. Tubal Cain, sorry, the cleft lip. And he's got one eye like a bulging grape, just like Dajjal will have, according to Muslims. According to Muslims, Dajjal has an eye like a bulging grape. This is Tubal Cain, the important one to the Freemasons, son of Lamech. Cain, upon his death, through Lamech, gave the spirit of Baal to Tubal Cain. And here we have the leader of the governors, Tubal Cain. I don't know if this is Leventa, I'm not sure, guys, right? But he has this Egyptian style crown, and I'm convinced that this had a bird and a serpent on it, and it's been smashed off either in the flood or by people. I don't know, maybe by even them governors, but this had a bird and a serpent on it. I am convinced, and we see he is double X'd, 2X'd. And this fish god, what they say is a fish god, this cleft lip, this is Baal. You see this? The guillotine V chopping block hat that he has on. He has lots of hats on, this hat man. It's a chopping block, it's the Dracula hairstyle. Now look though, he has 2 of these, like, Ankh Shen things, but the serpents. This is one from Cain, this is one from Tubal Cain. Tubal Cain, the feathered serpent with the Asclepius, the worm that does not die of the son of perdition. And here we see Tubal Cain with his 2 circumpuncts. So now on to number 2. Here we can see Tubal Cain with the cleft lip. We can see the circumpunct, and this guy has the axeman, the axe, the hammer axe. Cain's axe now progressed into a hammer axe. This is certainly Tubal Cain, and that must mean that this man is Lamech, and Lamech holding his baby Tubal Cain. We can see the 2 X's as well as the 2 circumpuncts, right? Look at his hat. The hat man the top hat, and he has the serpent, but only the serpent, because he killed Cain and he took it, his car kundalini, like Highlander, and he has now the top hat. This guy would be black as black, the blackest of the black people. This is where we get Baron Samedi from. Here's Lamech in his top hat, okay? He is the Hat Man. So he's took on the Hat Man, sorry. But the top hat look can be seen here. I don't know if this is Leventa Mirador, I'm not sure. Somewhere, guys. I want to try and find more for you about this. But Lamech taking on Baal, look. This person into this black man is where we get Baron Samedi from. Baron Samedi now has the snake, the limb that does not die, okay, and this cigar, this wand. Talking of wands, we find these scepters. I want to include scepters in this because every king that's a feathered serpent seems to have had a scepter. But Tubal Cain, Ai Peck is shown holding this very scepter, and Cain's head, his striped head in his hand. Ai Peck, Moshe, the Mashiach, because they thought that Cain was the Mashiach, Eve did, and then obviously when it wasn't Cain, he turned out to be a bad guy, and what went down with Lamech, everybody thought that Tubal Cain was the real Messiah that slew the bad guy Cain, the dragon. So he would be George. Tubal Cain, George. So the eighth, who is one of the seven, the eighth is looking like the second. Tubal Cain is going to be the eighth, as in the days of Noah. Okay, guys. So this metal scepter, just like the Jester's wand, which had the face. All these scepters that we find have faces, and I believe that one of these would have been Cain's. I'm not sure which one come from Can. I can't remember, guys. I'm getting overwhelmed again. But this metal one, this is Tubal Cain's scepter. The scepter of Ai Peck, who's holding Cain's black and red head. Tubal Cain, we can see now the two Osiris has risen. We see the two X's on his chest and his clothes. This is Tubal Cain, guys, in the Egyptian headdress that should have had a feathered serpent on it. We can see him here, which I'll show a better picture of it later, guys. The sun god coming down to the two balls, right? And on this, what they say, because he's Olmec's son, I believe that his culture became the Aztecs. After the days of Lamech, when Tubal Cain was king, that's the Aztec culture. But before he was king, he was the governor for his dad. And this stuff is Olmec style. It's the Ouroboros serpent, dragon, the plumed serpent. We can see the two X's. So the two X's, right? There's loads more going on in here, guys, right? He's got the circumpunct. We can see that, the jade bag, and lots more. He has the bag that we see on pillar 43 at Göbekli Tepe, and that we find Shiva having in India. Tubal Cain has the bag. It's the jade lock. So this symbol of this bag is from Göbekli Tepe, jade China, India, and now on this Olmec stealer of Quetzalcoatl, who is Tubal Cain, two balls in a cane, son of Lamech, or Lamech who killed Khan. And this is a ringer for the jade knotted bracelet, Ouroboros, of the plumed serpent from China, that's found in China. And this guy's now, right? So I've seen and shown you the Hongshan piece, that it ties in to the man from Karahan, with the man squatting man inside this Ouroboros of the plumed serpent. Okay, guys, who started off as dead as a dog, is the Olmec Ouroboros. This Olmec piece is Tubal-Cain with his cleft lip. You can see he's the second. He's got 2 feet now, because Cain had the foot to be the traveller. I don't know how much travelling Tubal-Cain did. He must have gone and surveyed his kingdom, king of the whole world, the second world king, the second avatar of Bud. Him himself is the Ouroboros here, look. This steel rail bowl, I've shown you already at the bottom. There's 6, because there's already done Cain in. 6 to go. He's this one. 5 more. 6. 1 down, 6 to go. That's what this is. 1 down, 6 to go, guys. Because 2 balls in a cane. The dog. Bowl. Howl, Mr. Wolfman. Wolfman howl. But he has these boxing gloves on. The boxer. Square in the circle. But we'll get to all that boxing stuff, guys. Now here we can see this guy offering to the sun god, who has the ram's horns, and we can see this legion coming out, this spiral, and a dead body down here. On this other one, guys, we can see, if we enlarge the top, we can see the plumed serpent with the 3, the fleur-de-lis crown. The plumed serpent is the sun god that's coming down, the fallen man. But here, guys, we can see 2 of these, which means Tubal-Cain, 2 balls marked, right? And this dead guy, this guy, his skeleton, his serpent's coming out of him. But look, guys, this is coming out, and it's going into this guy. And this is X, Osiris Risen 1. So this is Cain, and he's taking off his mask for Tubal-Cain. And this Kundalini is going in to him, just this is what I've been telling you guys. And it's his head that's off. This guy's head's off, and his Kundalini is literally coming out. So the Dendera Bull and the Chichen Itza ball court relief. Well, here we have it in antediluvian Steelers from El Baal. Aztec. Tubal-Cain. This and this. We also find these like drum things, which I believe are attempts at fasces. See this clown-like man with the horns and the earrings and the hands as eyes. So it's just a vessel for the spirit of the hand, really. But the marked hand at that. And here we can see the V, the crescent, this familiar from Göbekli Tepe now, this V, and this fish coming in. But it's not just a fish, guys, it's a face with the feathered hat of Bes, the Phoenician crown, and the Anunnaki crown. It's snakes and Asclepius. He's got a head full of snakes and Asclepius. This is antediluvian. This is Aztec. This is Tubal-Cain's culture. This is the fasces, what is copied of Cain, who had it as Horus in Egypt. You can see this at the Temple of Edfu. Right, guys, with a square at the top here and the orb in it. But here, look, guys, the 2 circumpunctured Tubal-Cain with the Anunnaki hat on. That the Sumerians and Nimrod could only remember and copy. It's the best Phoenician feathered hat, long head full of snakes, and Asclepius. That's what makes up this Anunnaki crown, and it's the fish coming down into the column. Tubal Cain's fasces. World government is pretty fascist. And now here we have the throne with the fish coming into the crescent and the two balls. Here we have the crown with the two balls. Here we have the jigsaw puzzle piece, the two columns, the two balls. This is supposed to be a calendar, right? Here the jaguar. On the side we can see this mask coming off again with the familiar Baphomet horns and the circumpunct, and this guy's dead. And on the other side we have the same stuff, but it's not a mask, it's a skull, and his kundalini is coming out. The one circumpunct. So on the Tubal Cain's Aztec throne literally commemorates the death of the first world king, feathered serpent Horus Cain. Tubal Cain's throne commemorates the death and unmasking and the releasing of the kundalini of the bearded man Cain, the first circumpunct. Viracocha. And Viracocha is the sun god that possessed Cain. And Cain, this is Tiwanaku. This is Cain's culture style. This is not Olmec. This is not Aztec, okay? This is absolute pinnacle of master craftsman stonework. This is can only be the work of the master builder of them all, Cain, possessed by the knowledge tree himself, the gate of the sun. And guys, look what we've found amongst artifacts after years and years and years of looking at this stuff, guys, and wanting it to go away, and now it's just not going away again at all and coming back. Look what we found, guys. These are, I think, the granite. I'm not sure what they are, that black stuff. I'm sorry, guys, but look, guys, look what they are. These are from Tiwanaku. This is Göbekli Tepe at Karahan Tepe. This is in the Sanliurfa Museum. Cain went here to Baal. He already born with him, but this is where Cain probably did Hajj pilgrimage to the site of Baal. But he's seen this, and he took it knowledge with him to the Hongshan culture, which I've already shown you. And this along with this, is profound in itself. But couple that to this, which is Olmec's second Quetzalcoatl, and these, which were from Tinoch, from Pumapunku, Tiwanaku. If this is from Karahan, and this is from the Red Mountain Jade culture, and this is from Tiwanaku, then this verifies my theory, guys, that this is Cain and this is his culture, and this is different stages of his life and his empire where he's set up town. It's the dog man driving the man. And we also find the bearded man sat on the double-headed lion throne. And then the flood. And then, of course, guys, I've shown you the gate of the sun, Viracocha, twin-staffed rod god, head of snakes, on this upside-down seal that they have the other way around. They say that's the way it goes. That's so you can't see these T-pillars, which people are talking about now. Some woman raised this with Graham Hancock. I've made a video about this, but nobody wants to talk about Viracocha. Viracocha on this seal. And this itself comes from the Yangtze culture, because we find this, and I've shown this on Chinese jade, which I show in the video, guys. So this Sumeria, cradle of civilization, The ark landed on the mountainous regions of Ararat, right where this had all started with this temple sacrifice and making Baal at Karahan Tepe and Göbekli Tepe, because that's how my God works. He landed his ark right on top of it. But the mystery religion and the channeling and the spirits and Satan and Lucifer and all the rest of it never went away. And this Sumerian seal shows memories of Viracocha and the two T-pillars in Göbekli Tepe, which of course will then go on through another period of time to Nimrod. And we see here Nimrod with his bag, the pineal pine cone pineal gland of the tree of knowledge, in his Horus bird form, the Apkallu. This is just the same guy. This is Nimrod, possessed by the spirit of son of perdition, in the title Horus, holding his pineal cone, pine cone, in the bag. This is Nimrod in the serpent Ouroboros in his hidden place, holding. Now we start to see the rod and ring, which later becomes the Shen, which goes on to be a cartouche. And he has, because he has memories obviously of Tubal Cain's Anunnaki helmet, and it was said to be pretty big. This guy is Gilgamesh, okay? A giant. Look at the size of these guys. Here we can see Gilgamesh, Nimrod, as a sphinx with the Anunnaki crown on. These are horns, heads of snakes. It's all the same stuff. Gilgamesh, Anunnaki, Nimrod also has a fez, a red fez, okay? This is the origins of the red fez. We can see he's got the scepter with the ball on the top, and we can't make out in this image, but he has the Maltese cross, which is Babylonian cross, obviously. It's the mark. And over in this seal, we can see him holding what they say is a deer. It might be a deer if he's a giant, but he has this wand, which is the two horns and then the three of the fleur-de-lis. Can you see this, guys? Here we can see that the horned crown is not a replacement or interchangeable or whatever. It is the feathered crown. These are the feathered crown of Bess, right? Head full of legion and the Anunnaki crown, okay? In his pineal on the fez is the spirit of the son of perdition. It shows you is the winged disc, Nimrod, the crescent and the star, and then 7, because he knows that there's 7 stars. We can see him as the lion man, Woden, with the fleur-de-lis on his head, on this Anunnaki crown helmet, and we see him as Vishnu, Dagon, the fish god, with the fleur-de-lis on his hat. The mace, guys, the scepter, okay? And guys, this relief, I don't know if this is in Baghdad or if it's in Nineveh, to be honest, but we see this lion, and this growing out of this lion, this tree full of pine cones, okay, pineal cones, and this serpent squirming up it and spitting out this infinite Ouroboros, because if I'm getting brain freeze, guys. I'm getting brain freeze. This infinity sign is the new Ouroboros, the infinity with the 3 for the fleur-de-lis. But the main important thing in this whole thing is not the Sphinx, but what we see on the Sphinx, the 3 circumpunct spotted balls. Because this is the 3rd time Baal was in a Nimrod. This time Baal, for the 3rd time, Baal was in Nimrod. So then, obviously, guys, the fourth age of Aquarius, the pouring out of the vessels, the nut, the legion, the spirit, the fourth serpent punct, the fourth jet column we see at Dendera is King Tut, the feathered serpent. And this is not, by this time, this is old. This is not Egyptian, guys. This is Cain's beard, okay? Tut was the Ankh of our moon, the fourth bird serpent Horus, Quetzalcoatl, hand and rib. He was R1B, okay? He was a red man. This Tutankhamun's death mask, the whole thing, Egypt, it's two volcanoes, and I'm sure the feathered serpent smashed off here. Compare them both with this judge's thing, okay? Don't worry, guys, I know I'm making a mess of this, and this is going the long way around, but this, I might re-record this, I'm not sure. I might just put it out there, see what you guys say, sit through it. I think it's probably been 3 hours or something. Tutankhamun's master of animals, flanked by, when he's sat here, he's flanked by the lions, the lion throne, the master of animals. He has his scepter with the face on, the last scepter of the Quetzalcoatlus. He has his crook and flail of Osiris. He is the middle pillar of the Lion King, sticking his tongue out, the mocking tongue of Kali, with the ball, the red orb. The middle pillar, flanked by 2 pillars. He is the Holy Grail. King Tut is the Holy Grail. And here we have the Knumb Samshangdwe artifact. The whole thing now progresses into this, which is an alabaster perfume pot. He had loads of stuff with this sort of relief stuff on. This waving, best crowned, sticking out tongue, hand up, hand down, marked hand, Baphomet lion. Guys, can you even believe any of this now, guys, at this point? There's no wonder I'm losing my marbles. And he has this shield where he is in the smiting position, slaying the beast.